The term choking most likely originated in poker, where a player who previously was playing well for a given duration and thus was considered the winning competitor, suddenly started to lose his momentum due to poor choices. With the time, like most terms used to describe these kinds of occurrences, choking started to be used in the world of gaming. Most often used in competitive scenarios, choking usually leads to a losing state, called being tilted. This is a continuous mental state of uncertainty, where making the right decision can get a lot harder. Most of the time being tilted causes more mistakes and thus leads to failure. Of course, being tilted and choking isn't exclusive to games with competitive modes. Making the wrong decision in the heat of the moment can occur in just about any game you could imagine. Even games that put the player against the environment. So let's start talking about choking in Synthetik. Like most games with a decent amount of diversity and options to choose your own way of playing, choking comes from mistakes in your micro and macro gameplay. But what does that even mean? Micro gameplay refers to the immediate mechanics that a player uses to engage with the in-game environment. Things like aiming, shooting, using items and controlling the flow of the game. So to spot a player that has really good micro gameplay is usually fairly easy and takes almost no amount of game knowledge. Macro gameplay, on the other hand, refers to the ability to make good choices at any given time that don't necessarily affect the game in an immediate fashion, but rather affect a player's performance in the long run. These are things like theory crafting, choosing a suitable loadout, making choices according to not only the situation at hand, but also situations that might, or rather will, come up later in the game. With this in mind, we can safely say that there are two kinds of chokes. Choking in regards of micro gameplay is pretty obvious. You miss your shots, get yourself in uncomfortable situations that you can deal with, or you die because you didn't pay good attention to your surroundings. The macro choke, however, is much more subtle. These mistakes usually lead to failure much later down the road, where even the best micro gameplay wouldn't have saved you. You will most likely die if you skipped on certain upgrades or chose the wrong modules. Macro gameplay is a necessity to get far in roguelite games and accomplish your desired goals. But what exactly is your goal in Synthetik? This might seem like a question with an obvious answer. The objective is to kill the last boss, or stage if you will, with each class. Beyond that is a leveling system with prestige and even insanity class challenges that let you upgrade your class even further. If you have beaten the game once, you should know that after beating the last stage you enter the loop. This is like a new game plus, except it's just that run, and the game gets harder by a lot. The point I'm trying to get here is that this game offers a lot of things that players might set as a goal for themselves. And herein lies the source of most frustration, or tilt if you will. If you already accomplished the goals the game set out to you, but you still want to play, more often than not, you set your own goals. Like defeating the last defender twice. Personally, I haven't gotten to that point yet, and I'm pretty sure this is due to my playstyle being way too reckless and impatient. In the past I've choked so often in loop that I stopped counting. I originally envisioned this video being just a compilation of me choking, despite having really good gear, but I wanted this to be a bit more than that now. If you feel frustrated with anything, you should take a break and try again later. So whatever it is that is holding you back in Synthetik, try mixing up your macro gameplay and keep improving your micro gameplay, and eventually you will conquer the goals that you set for yourself. If you've made it this far into the video, I want to thank you for watching my content. Also a big thanks to all the people that encouraged me to make more content in my last video. You guys are awesome.